Oh my goodness, it has been a hot minute since I recorded a video, but I really wanted to sit down the first month of this new year and record a video for you guys. This is a video that I've never done before. It's just gonna be a Q&A type of video. At least I don't think I've ever done it before. But anyways, I asked you on Instagram to share any questions that you wanna know about me, specifically regarding my business, my art background, and all of that good stuff. So let's just dive right in. Actually, before we get started, I should probably introduce myself if you are brand new here. My name is Diana. I have a design company called Chasing Linen, and I'm a watercolor artist, a designer, a business owner, and a work from home mom. Okay, so let's just get started right into the questions. So the first question that I got asked is, how did you get into this profession and work your way up? So I shared my story of bits and pieces here and there in my previous videos, but I don't think I ever sat down to really explain how I got into everything. But basically, I've been drawing and painting my whole life and always wanted to do something creative and maybe even wanted to be an artist. But as I got older, I just felt like it wasn't a realistic career. Even in high school, I was in an art studio AP class. It was an advanced class, but even my teacher in my advanced class told me that I wasn't good enough and that I should try to pursue something else. So I decided to take her advice because she was someone that I trusted. And in college, I decided to try out basically everything that I was potentially interested in from all different aspects of like subjects and majors and whatnot. And I ended up loving illustration. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna put that down as my major. I actually went to a community college for a few years because I was working. And during that time, I started a blog called Chasing Linen, where I would anonymously post my artwork and post other things that were inspiring to me. I didn't feel comfortable using my name or sharing like who I was behind the blog. It was a Tumblr back then. And that kind of started to build some traction. So I started to have some sort of a web presence. This was back in 2013, I believe. I believe it was around 2014 when I had an opportunity to go to a mission trip to Alaska. I shared this in my previous video as well, but in order for me to fundraise for this trip, I decided to create a watercolor calendar. I had never made a product before. I have never scanned and digitized an artwork before. Yeah, I put it up online. I ended up making enough sales to not only get myself to Alaska, but also a friend. So I was like, wow, there might be something here. So that's kind of how I got started. And from that point, I would just do different commissions. Oh, actually, I did want to mention, I didn't go full-time at all. I was doing this as my part-time side hustle thing. For about 2 years, I had other jobs. I was going to school full time, so I wasn't able to commit to this fully. I didn't have time to go to a 4-year university and have my day jobs and do the side hustle. So I was like, what should I cut off? And I decided to cut off my day jobs to pursue this thing full time. And from that point, that first year, I ended up making a little bit more than what I was making at my day jobs, which wasn't a lot, but that gave me enough confidence to move forward. 2015 is when I went full time. My business has changed a lot from that point, but that's kind of how it got started. Sorry, that was a really long answer. And the second part of this question was, how did you work your way up? To be honest, like anything, it's just time and building confidence. Confidence only comes when you do something repetitively over and over and over again. It's not necessarily that I think I'm incredibly talented more than other people. I mean, I know so many artists who are really, really talented, but I think what helped me to work up in a sense and be able to work with some amazing clients is I just kept going and I just kept showing up and posting my stuff, even if I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this is the best artwork ever. Sometimes you just have to kind of show up and show your progress, and the right people will want to hire you and you can kind of get more opportunities from there. So the next question is, how do you continue to carry out projects even when you're feeling uninspired? This question makes me laugh because I feel like this is every artist and designer's problem, right? Like sometimes you have to take on jobs that you're not like over the moon about, and that is okay. Sometimes you just have to do that, especially in the beginning. When I finally decided to major in art, one of my professors told me inspiration is for sissies. And I was like shocked when I heard this. I was like, you know, under 20 at the time. I don't remember exactly how old, but I was just like, what? I thought you have to be inspired to be a creative person. But basically what he was saying was sometimes like inspirational feelings don't come right away. Sometimes you find it as you're going through the process of creating. And I really appreciated that. Basically, he was saying there's a balance between feeling inspired to create and just creating and getting that onto paper. And that discipline and exercise is actually what will help you carry forward in your creative process and see improvements and all that stuff. It's the same thing when you want to see results in different areas. If you want to lose weight or get more fit, you might not want to go to the gym. You might not want to run 2 miles or whatever, eat healthy. But once you start doing it, you kind of feel those endorphins kick in, you start seeing results, and that brings you inspiration to move forward. And it's really helpful actually to get a deadline or a client or some sort of accountability around the deadline date. So make sure you set that and just finish it, even if you don't feel like it. You got this. So the next question is, how did you get your business to be noticed by people? So this is something that I think everybody also struggles with, especially in this online space where there's just so many businesses out there, right? Your branding, your style, your artwork, obviously has a huge role to play. Like you want to create work that you feel proud of, that you resonate with. There's a balance between, you know, you showing up as the artist and creating what you want to do. But I think really what makes you stand out as a business rather than an artist and have that longevity of being able to like bring cash in and, you know, invest back into your business is the service. The service and the quality of the project and the delivery is really what will keep the attention of the people that you attracted with your branding and artistic style. So make sure you have a balance of both. The next question is, how did you get started in live event painting? It looks like fun, but I wouldn't know how to start. The very first like live painting experience was at my church. We would do live painting during worship. I didn't love it, but I remember feeling like a sense of thrill and something special about showing the process from taking a blank canvas and bringing the artwork to life. So even though I didn't enjoy it emotionally, I did see the special, unique qualities of that. And from that point, I started painting out more publicly and in my own timing in an area that I was inspired by. So I kind of made it a little bit more defined to what I was comfortable with. So I would start doing that. The first opportunity of live art, you know, in terms of service came from a brand called Janie and Jack. They're like a, you know, beautiful children's clothing brand. And they asked me to come and paint for their, you know, launch. They were launching a new swimsuit collection and asked me to bring a staff, like you and your second artist should come and like paint for this event. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just me? Like, I don't even think I had an admin person at the time, but I was so excited because I love the brand, I love the concept, and I was just super excited. I said yes. Luckily, we had a few months to prepare before the event date. So I basically asked one of my artist friends who, you know, said yes. And we came up with this process together, the final style together. And on the day of, we just did it. And it was a lot of fun. And then after that, at the event, there was a celebrity. I don't know if you guys remember Sister, but one of the twins, Tia, she actually hired me for her son's 5th birthday, which was happening 2 weeks after that first event. And then that event got picked up by a few publications and it just snowballed from there. At one point, I ended up having too many events that I couldn't handle. So that's when I started hiring out other artists and stuff like that. So that's basically how I got started. I do think that if you want to try this out, I would highly recommend doing it first without getting paid. Like, go out there and try painting in front of people, try to get comfortable with that feeling of having someone watch your process. It will feel uncomfortable at first. And sometimes it even still feels uncomfortable at times because you want to tell them like, this isn't the final product yet, or this is the ugly stage, but you have to get comfortable showing people even that. So there's a vulnerability in that whole process. Sorry, I just adjusted the light. I realized it got really bright. Okay, and the next question is, have you ever felt tired of your job? Of course, doesn't anyone get tired of their job sometimes? You know, we're all human. We all go through difficult seasons and difficult clients and projects and things like that. So yes, there have been times where I felt tired of my job. I usually find that that happens when either one, I have too much on my plate, especially too many different things on my plate, then I feel really overwhelmed. If I have a lot of projects, but it's like all the same, then I can get in there and like focus. Same thing with live art. When I get there, I might have 100 people to paint, but I know it's like, I'm just focusing on this. Or if I'm doing too many things I don't like, but sometimes you don't know that until you're in it and you're like, oh, I don't really love doing this. If you are in that place where you're tired of your job, evaluate what you're currently doing and what you love about it and what you don't love about it. And then next time, don't advertise the stuff that you don't love, because when you advertise it or even post about it, people are gonna be like, oh, she does that, I'm gonna hire her for that. And then you get stuck in this rabbit hole of projects that you don't love. So someone said, when did you realize you were talented to do all of this? To be totally honest with you, in terms of like how I feel, I don't know still if I'm talented enough. There's always a bar that is higher than where I'm currently at. And even if I end up realistically hitting that bar, I'm like still looking up. And I think that happens to a lot of creative people or artists who are trying to hone in on their craft and improve and stuff like that. But what I do feel confident in is what I said earlier, is building that, you know, momentum of repetition, 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 and you start building confidence because you know you have a track record of doing some of these things. I think I realized it when I had my first win of, you know, having the watercolor calendar sell out. And, you know, even though that was my first win, I had many losses before and after. It's not like everything that I launched was a success from the get-go. I mean, that was the first domino piece that kind of fell and led into that momentum of success, but there were lots of things that happened beforehand that were failures and losses. I don't consider those failures because it really taught me to keep going and to not just give up just because it didn't come out the way I intended or one person didn't like it. You know, you can't please everybody. Sometimes you just have to put your head down and just keep going. The next question is, what watercolors do you normally use? What are your favorite brands? So my favorite brands are the Winsor Newton professional grade. They also have a Cotman brand, which is the student grade, which is still great too, but I love the professional grade. I feel like the vibrancy and the colors, and it's just the best. I also love a brand called Shinhan. It's a Korean brand and I was introduced to it in college. And I still use it today. A link down below. I actually created a guide if you want to just download it. It's like a Google Doc with all the links and stuff like that. So I'll leave it down below if you're interested in that. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up this Q&A with the final question, which I love, which is, what do you like to do to recharge? I know it's so strange to answer this, but I really like to dream and vision and think of like what I want long term. It's kind of weird to say like that's what I love doing, but what helps me to do that is journaling. It feels similar to painting or creating. Like when I am drawing, I'm just like in the zone and focused, and time gets lost and I feel so like much better afterwards. I feel the same way with journaling. So sometimes with painting, I do want to step away because it's my job and I have feelings towards that, you know, that activity. But with journaling, I don't really get paid for it and it's something that I love. So I love to journal. I also like to just potato and watch Survivor. I love to exercise. I feel a lot better when my body is moving and I get, you know, that endorphin rush from a good workout. So I would say those are the main things that keeps me recharged. And then of course, I love spending time with my son. That's the best. Seeing him like learn and grow every single day, every single hour is just so much fun. So that's a wrap. I hope you guys enjoy this casual Q&A style video. Again, I've never done this type of video before, but if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you want to see more of these like talking Q&A videos. And if you do have more questions that I haven't answered in this video, then make sure to leave it down in the comments below. I definitely read all of them and will try to answer as many as I can. And maybe I'll do another one of these Q&A videos again. All right, guys, till next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.